is a question wrapped up in a riddle, wrapped up in a fucking enigma.
It's my dad. Oh, Daddy, I missed you. A lot of respect for people in costumes.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, you know, I hear all these horror stories about people, how miserable costumes are. And I was like, oh, I'm not, you know, I'm sure it's not that bad. And I'm in this thing 10 minutes and I'm ready to hang myself. You know? I mean,
and I would say to them, when am I going to breathe? And they'd say, you're not. You're not. So when I'd have to run up these stairs to get to this room, and I would get to the top of the steps, and there would be someone there with a straw, and they'd put it in my mouth so I could breathe, because I couldn't get any air, because it was made of like plastic, all right, molded to my face, and I can't stop looking at him. How do you feel?
oh, it's terrible.
You want a straw?
Well, no, I cut my mouth open with a pocket knife.
Yeah. I mean, Lumpies was all human hair, and they would brush me all the time. I was always being combed and brushed, you know. We had to learn. I mean, we went in for like an orientation and listened to Wookiee sounds. They played some sounds for us and say this would mean happy, this would mean sad, this would mean angry. I think the one thing that stuck out in my mind a lot was the way Steve Bender directed me. I was at a table and the performers were performing and I had to respond, and he would say, there's an acrobat and he's jumping up in the air, and he would have me look this way and watch him, and oh, look what he's doing, and my reactions were the way he was describing what was going on. And I looked at that and I thought, that was awesome, because it was almost like right on cue. He's with Chewbacca and he's got me in his arms, and he would say, my, she's grown, hasn't she? And Steve would say, cut. Harrison, she's a boy. He'd go, oh, yeah, okay. So we'd do it again, and he'd pick me up and he'd say, my, she's grown, hasn't she? I'd say, Harrison. And he finally said, I can't look at her out of that costume and then think of her as a boy, you know. But it worked, you know, he got it.
It all began with penis mullet. I'm very ashamed of what I do. Let me ask you something, and this is a question I've wanted to ask you for a while, and I've always restrained myself. Yeah. A Christmas special came out that was produced by George Lucas, in which all of the participants in Star Wars came together and they made this Star Wars Christmas special, and the tape's been passed around for years, and the rumor is that Lucas is trying to suppress it because none of you look happy while you're making this thing. And I thought I'd just ask you about it. Do you remember making this Christmas special? I think it was 1978. No, you don't remember it? You have no memory of this incident?
No, none whatsoever.
No memory of it at all?
No,
so it doesn't exist in your...
No, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist?
No.
What if I were to tell you that I had a little piece of tape right now?
The Star Wars Holiday Special.
Chewie, check and see if the coast is clear, will you? You're like family to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it had top-notch talent.
Oh, yeah. These are the best people in the business. Every one of these people is...
Really?
Yeah. They're just the best. One day I remember coming to work, and I sat down at my desk and I looked in this conference room area that we had, and George Lucas was sitting in there. And I went, what the heck is he doing here? And then I found out we were doing this show called the Star Wars Holiday Special. I remember reading the script, the first script, and thinking, well, this is going to be very interesting, because it was this contrived story it was pretty weird working at that company, Smith Hemian. Everything was always directed by this genius, Dwight Hemian. And then I found out that another guy was going to be directing this Star Wars show. And he turned out to be a pretty wild dude. He just looked like such a maniac. He would come out and like freak out and then run back in there. And then all the shit would fall apart again.
What are you saying? I'm just saying, Pete.
And it was a serious deal. And this guy was like nuts. I mean,
Greet everyone. Lunch now, lunch. It's all in the can. Good morning's work.
But you haven't done a shot.
I just keep Malala.
I don't know, there was just something about the whole show that, you know, it was like a giant accident waiting to happen. I remember feeling like, you know, this is not going too well. At the time, he was really a big shot director at the top of his game. I do remember it bringing more stability to the shoot, but I think by that time it was just too far gone. I don't think the actors were able to really see the overall picture. I don't think they could tell that it was as bad as the movie was good, you know. How about Steve Binder?
Binder. Now, I have tried to find that guy.
Okay, I'll give you his number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're going to Comic-Con tomorrow.
Where is Comic-Con?
That's in San Diego. And Carrie Fisher and then David Prowse are going to be there.
Oh.
So,
and Bruce Campbell lives where we live, and he's a friend of ours, and Mike and Bruce are making a movie in the little town where we live. There's 2,200 people there.
Hey, if they need somebody. Yeah, please.
Yeah, you do a good Chewbacca, like getting fucked in the ass.
we are here in LA interviewing as many people as we can find about the holiday. Right, yeah, it wasn't shown again. George Lucas has suppressed it, and so we are trying to enlighten, I guess, the world. Well, we're wondering if either you would want to do an interview or if... no kidding. Wow. Okay, listen to this. Binder is writing an autobiography, and he just finished up writing the chapter on the holiday special.
People are going to think I actually enjoy doing this, too.
You just gotta get your head out of your ass.
Hey, shut up. You know, just because we're shooting this stupid movie doesn't mean I'm happy about wearing this gorilla suit. This fucking sucks. That's what I have to say.
If you get hot in the mask, you can take it off.
Oh, can I?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I didn't know it was in my contract. Celebrity at this place, man.
Get someone like Carrie Fisher in here. She would be maybe like on
Say
a
Schlag
panel,
and Chewbacca.
but I doubt the lines would be so great.
Chewy hustle.
These people would be showing their grandkids like, this is me and Chewy Comic-Con. And it's me, bitches. It's me.
I'm the king of the geeks. I've been reading comic books for years, and I finally made it!
George Lucas, he suppressed it after it came out. So,
has it been aired?
What?
Has it been aired?
Only once, originally in '78 when it came out. He hasn't allowed it to be shown since. So I wanted to ask her about that and get her opinion about it.
Right.
And you know what? Here's what pissed me off about it. Is because George
when you go back and you see what he does, adding those special effects to the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6. I mean, I saw this with some Star Wars outfit on. He had this pin on that says Han shoots first.
Han shot first. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's true.
And and it's just like, what
they
the
digitally animate.
And they move his shoot Greedo first, or not to shoot Greedo first. That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer a potential headshot from Greedo, or to take blasters against a sea of troubles and by opposing end him. To die, to carbon sleep, no more. And by a carbon sleep, we mean to say we put an end to all the
heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wit, for in that carbon sleep of death, what dreams may come. We have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. For who would student lone hunters bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life? But that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns.
Your obsession with this is illogical.
Puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than to fly to others that we know not of. Thus, conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution.
You were a puss before coming on this trip.
Sicklied over with the pale cast of thought.
I thought you had a spine at least.
And all.
Apparently you were born without nuts.
Who's the name?
And a spine.
Of action.
I mean, how you fuck up such an important thing is beyond me.
You fucked up. What were you thinking?
What were they thinking?
I did the best I could.
I mean, you fucked up. You had Fisher right where you wanted her. She was cornered in a public area. You could have asked her.
Listen, it was a crazy scene at the Comic-Con. I did the best I could. I got the electrician's number.
Her electrician's number? Are you an imbecile? Fisher's electrician works for Fisher, right? So while she was talking to you, Fisher got away. You let Fisher get away. I didn't know someone could be that stupid. A conspiracy like this, if you shoot too high and miss, everyone feels more secure. Harrison Ford was on Conan, and he began choking Conan when he mentioned the holiday special. What do you think's going to happen to you if he did that to Conan? Oh, and Prowse. David Prowse. That scene was laughable.
When I came in, which was to replace the original director, who I never met, they had already shot the bar scene. They had shot, I guess, the Jefferson Starship. A lot of their budget was already eaten up by the preceding shoot. The shooting script had already been signed off and approved. They were already into it, so I had no input whatsoever in changing anything. It was just a case of, I had 1.5 pounds of script that had to be shot. When I walked on this set at Warner Brothers, instantly I realized one of their problems, and that was it had a permanent 4-wall set, which was really fantastic if you're shooting film. But here we were with multiple electronic cameras. Those days they didn't have the mobility that you guys have today. It was almost physically impossible for any director to get the equipment where it had to be. You're going to have to make that 4th wall open up so we can shoot outside the set and inside the set, but we could also, when we need reverse shots, we can put that wall back in and shoot, the opposite direction. I never honestly expected the entire opening to be, you didn't hear any actual English being spoken. In my television watching, I probably would not have watched it because of the first 20 minutes or so. I was bored with it, and I have never directed anything in my life that I haven't been very involved in from beginning to the end. Here I was doing a television special that I wasn't involved in the pre-production at all. And I wasn't involved in the post-production, so all I can judge it from is what did I do when I was on the stage directing. The last scene, I was told, we don't have any money for a set, so you're going to have to use your imagination on a bare stage. And I remembered from previous experiences of directing that the one thing that's a great look that fills the stage, if you're in trouble like that, are candles. So we loaded the stage up with all kinds of, somebody ran down to a candle store, I guess, our director. We did the big grand finale.
A day that takes